Hey, everybody. Welcome to Off Season After Dark episode 29. And we have a regular face with us, Jake Thomas, who you frequently will see on our SEC After Dark group show with us, as well as the double dose of Alabama football he is giving us with Bama After Dark and Tide Talk. So, shockingly enough, for all the different schools we've had and went all over the country, in the show so far, this will be our first Alabama centric episode. So wanted to kick off our off season, format. In season, it was a lot of how things were going, what might happen. Now, as we transition to the off season, this episode being first, it's going to be, early in the portal season, how the season went, what the roster is looking like, and where their teams might have to focus on in the portal, and where they're going to lose guys, where they're bringing guys in, who's coming back, and expectations there. So, Jake, glad to have you here. Good to finally have you on, a one-on-one setting like we are now.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mike. Really glad to be here.
Absolutely. So, tell the audience. I'm assuming most of our audience has seen you with me multiple times, and both of us all over the place. But what got you into the space? How long have you been following Bama? When did you start doing a podcast? What got you in the group? You've been in longer than I have in the group, so yeah.
Well, starting off, me and my cousin, we started. We was just talking one day, and we watched multiple podcasts and about Alabama football, and we were just like, we would like to start doing something like that. My cousin Stacy, he's on Tide Talk Live with me. And
I did not know you guys were cousins, but yeah,
yes, we are cousins.
Yep.
And it was like, I think it was 2016, and it's like, you know what? Even if we don't go anywhere with it, at least we're just talking, having fun. Let's do it. So we actually started out called Double Coverage Podcast. And we talked a little bit of everything in sports-wise, basketball, football, baseball, because we like the Atlanta Braves down here and all that. So we had a broad spectrum, but once you start noticing and getting out there, you start finding out who your audience is. And it was, of course, Alabama fans. So we kind of rebranded into Tide Talk Live, and that's where we are today. And we're just excited, to talk about Alabama football. We're starting to grow a lot more on YouTube, and thank everybody for that. It's been great, but we just love talking about Alabama football and love doing this. So we're glad to be here. And then I guess with that popularity, Steven reached out to me probably about maybe 4 years ago now. I believe I've been in here about 3 or 4 years.
Nice.
And he wanted me to do a segment, do a show called Best of the West with another guy from Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah. So we did that. And then Corey, who's on our channel with us, he was on, they did, I think it was called Beast of the East. I believe that's what their show was called. He did with a Tennessee guy. And it was kind of like a little thing with Steven. Well, I also watched Steven and Corey and Jeb's show I think they were doing it Wednesday nights at that point.
Okay.
And I, we were just sitting there talking and they was talking. I was interjecting on the live show talking. And they just happened to say, hey, why don't we just get you on our live show with us from now on?
Nice.
So I took the opportunity, and I've been on there ever since. And then just to see where SEC After Dark has grown into, bringing you in, Mike, and bringing in, Biscuits and SEC guys.
Yeah,
it's just,
that's what I wasn't sure if you or the Biscuits guys had been on longer with the group, so I was curious about that. Okay.
Yeah, it was me and then them, then you jumped in with us as well. So it's just fun doing what we do. We've enjoyed not only Tide Talk Live, but also what I'm doing here on SEC After Dark, and not only Tide Talk Live, but also SEC After Dark and what we're doing. We're growing, and it's just really fun. So I'm enjoying it, and I hope we continue growing. Not only this show, your show, SEC After Dark, Tide Talk Live, all the shows that are connected with this channel on SEC Network, at SEC After Dark Network.
Yeah, absolutely. It's for me, it's I don't want to say. I think the motivation, similar to you. Like I, had done some writing and um, did a few spots with Steve. Not to doing this stuff isn't my full time job either, and just enjoyed talking about it and getting with the group of guys that had similar interests, and it's just kind of snowballed from there and gotten better. So yeah, similar trajectory, and certainly enjoy doing it.
Absolutely.
Have you been an Alabama fan since birth? Pretty much.
Pretty much. I was a year old in the '92 championship. So when I got older, started understanding, my mom, my dad, my uncle, Stacy's dad, my uncle, he recorded that and I think he's got like 5 different copies of that game.
Okay.
And I used to go to Stacy's house and watch football games with him all the time. So nice. Me and him went through the Sheila era. We went through the DeBose era. He was, Stacy's a year older than me. Okay. So, but, I used to go to his house every Saturday and we watched football games. Me and him and his dad and stepmom were actually in attendance at the Northern Illinois game when Alabama got beat by them at home under Sheila that year. So,
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was Shula or Franchione. Okay.
Yes, that was Shula. So I remember that vividly. I remember being at when I was at the game when Prothro had his amazing catch against Southern Miss. I remember that. That was a great memory I have. So everybody says I pretty much come out of the womb with an Alabama shirt on.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember I've seen Bama play once in person. So when I was at South Carolina in 2019, that fall right before COVID hit, it was that early September, first conference game of the year. And it's the game where Najee Harris hurdled over the guy and went. It was unbelievable play. Yep. And I remember Henry Ruggs took a slant and just turned it upfield. And it was like, oh, that guy's really, really fast.
Yeah. Unfortunately, what happened to him in the NFL, he ruined his career because he would have had a bright future in the NFL for sure.
Yeah. But I remember that was it was fun going to that game. And that's the only time I've seen Bama play in person. I think in my time with the, at South Carolina, my 4 years in the doc program, I saw them play almost everybody. Obviously Texas and Oklahoma weren't in the conference yet.
Right.
And LSU never came there. Mississippi State never did. I think I saw everybody else.
Oh, wow.
So.
Okay.
Because that was still in the years it was still East West. So you'd see all the East teams every other year, and then the West ones cycled through.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're A&M, you don't ever get to see Georgia at all at home.
Yeah, yes,
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I guess for the Gamecocks, it would be Mississippi State because Mississippi State had been the crossover team that the Gamecocks played every year. But when A&M and Mizzou joined the conference, A&M then became our crossover team. So we were one of the teams that got switched.
Okay.
So it went from playing Mississippi State every year to like once a decade playing.
Right.
Them. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Which I don't want to say like it's an opponent you'd rather play, but also like there's no historic rivalry with Mississippi State. So it made sense.
Yeah. That's understandable.
Yeah. But let's dive into the Gamecocks or not the Tide a little more. And just talk about. So I feel like they would be in a unique spot right now. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but you're almost always going to say if you go to the playoffs, that's a successful year and you feel really happy. You guys might be the one team that wouldn't say that right now. Like, I don't know many Tide fans who were saying, this is great. We're happy with everything. It was a 10 out of 10 season. That's not how you guys feel right now.
No, 11-win season for most programs. And like you said, Mike, they're ecstatic. They're happy. got something to build on. But it was just let the bad taste in our mouth how that game ended in Indiana. So I think what it showed, though, is what Alabama's lacking and what they need to work on this offseason. And number one, and you've seen it, I think there's like 5 or 6 offensive linemen in the portal for Alabama. Alabama's got to get better on the offensive line. And another thing you may see coming in the here pretty soon is probably an offensive line coach change. That's one of the hot topics throughout Bama Twitter right now. Is new offensive line coach and getting more physical and more toughness out of your group as well, especially in the trenches.
So far, is Nick Sheridan the only coach they have lost? For those people out there that aren't familiar, Sheridan was the quarterback's coach, and he's going to Michigan State as the offensive coordinator under Pat Fitzgerald. Had been at Washington and Indiana with DeBoer, Grubb, and then now was followed to Bama. But is Sheridan the only guy so far that's not coming back?
Jamarcus Russell, Jarvis Shepard. He got hired at Oregon State.
Yes, says head coach. That is right. Yeah.
And as of right now, I don't think anybody on staff is following him at this point, not that I've seen.
Yeah. So, I think one of the analysts is, but no full-timers.
Right. Yeah. So, for the most part, you're probably going to retain most of your staff. Now, a lot of Alabama fans won't Grubb gone, but I'm kind of 50-50 on him at the moment.
Yeah. I think Grubb, you got to. He was only there for a year, and they had a lot of success at Washington. He's done well. One thing that's troubling, I forget if it was you or Bossman that brought this up, but the one troubling thing is that at both the Seahawks and Bama this year, his teams were very poor at running the ball. Yeah. That's interesting.
It is. And, me and Stacey have talked about this from time to time on our show. Is it a scheme problem? Because if you look since the 2020 season, Najee Harris was the last running back to have over 1,000 yards rushing. Yeah. So, and I think he was in 2020. So,
2020.
Yeah. So, is it a scheme problem? Is it the guys up front? I don't know. Coaching. I don't know what the problem is, but in a situation as an offense coordinator, your job is to set your players up to be successful. So, it falls back on Grubb to, a lot of times this year. I think in the Indiana game, I know we was behind a good bit, but let's just go back to the Auburn game. I think a total team carries in the Auburn game was like 15. I mean, you cannot stop running the ball at all. Even if you're down.
I would say, especially in a game when you're winning the whole fourth quarter, you'd think you'd have way more carries than that.
Yeah. So he abandoned the run a lot. That left a lot of bad taste in our mouth because Alabama's coined to run the ball, but maybe it's a scheme problem. Maybe it's the guys that we had wasn't athletic enough to maybe make a hole for the running backs. Maybe they wasn't seeing the hole good enough to hit the hole. There's a lot of issues that need to be worked on this offseason.
I'm looking at their PFF grades, and Proctor is the only one that has a good run blocking grade.
Right. He's gone to the NFL draft probably.
Yeah. And looking at him, I mean, he will in the NFL, he'll instantly become a very good run blocker just because of his size. Like that mass and force going downhill, he's going to be an elite run blocker. For him, it's the pass game at the next level he'll have to work on. But the other 4 were not great run blockers.
No. Formby, he's in the portal. Dewberry is out of eligibility. Vandermark is out of eligibility. Michael Carroll, he come in at right tackle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's a freshman, so he's got time to grow. But
and look at him, a pass blocking grade way better than his run blocking grade for this year. Brailsford, is he going to – I know he I think could come back, but he's also been in college a while, so –
he actually come out today about 3 or 4 hours ago and said he's announcing the draft. So he's going to try.
I mean, he'll be the second or third center taken. That's not shocking.
Right. So, yeah. I don't blame him at all.
No. Center may be a position where they target a portal guy then because
Yes.
I saw Ionata. I don't know if that's how you say it, but the backup center is also going in the portal.
Yeah, and Rob Montgomery, who also was a backup center, is in the portal as well. One guy that they're looking at to fill that void, they're bringing in Michigan's Caden Strayhorn. I think he's going to be on campus tomorrow, Wednesday.
Okay.
So he's got some experience at there. And another guy they're looking at, Brock Rocker, Texas State guy. They're bringing him in.
Oh yes, he's a stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Announced he was going in the portal while their bowl game was taking place.
Yes.
Yeah. But he's a heck of a player. Yeah.
Yes. So Alabama's looking at those two guys. Another guy is Jacarius Peak, which is interesting. He was at NC State. Hollywood Smothers is on campus right now, and a lot of people's already projecting him to commit to Alabama. So maybe he can pull Peak to come with him as well.
Yeah, we kind of figured one of the top portal running backs would go there, and with Trey Wisner committed to Florida State today, he's out, and that would not be shocking.
Right.
Another one I had wondered. Yeah, you had mentioned Michigan. The Poku, from East Carolina, was another guy I had wondered if they would look at him in the portal. He'll also be a guy to look at with ECU's O coordinator, Baker, going to Ole Miss. He could end up at Ole Miss too, so that wouldn't shock me.
Yeah,
but he's an interior, and he's a guard center guy.
Mm-hmm.
The other one who will certainly, I think, end up at a SEC or Big Ten school is Anthony Boswell from Toledo.
Yes.
Good player. So he'll and he's a center guy. He had bounced around position-wise. He was at Purdue initially, but I hope he lands at center because he's 6'2", about 300 pounds. If he wants to go to the NFL, that's where he's going to play.
Right.
So it would be smart, I think, now to make that transition to center.
Yep, I agree 100%. Another guy they brought. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go for it. I was just going to say, I was going to ask with Proctor, and I brought this up in our group show a week or so ago. Will Jackson Lloyd be the next left tackle, or will they get a left tackle in the portal?
Yeah, I think all indications are they are comfortable with Jackson Lloyd being there. So we'll see. I think bringing in a veteran to spell him. Me and Stacey had our portal show yesterday.
Okay.
And one of the things, it's critical, especially in the SEC, Mike. You know, being a South Carolina Gamecocks fan, but it's critical that you have 6 or 7 guys you can plug, on the line, because there's freak injuries happen. Somebody gets stepped on wrong. They're got a sprained ankle, roll their ankle. They're going to be off maybe just a couple of plays, but you still need somebody who has some experience at least to plug into that hole for at least a couple of plays, or he may get a longer extended playing time. So you need some veterans to that may not be starters, but at least they're good to come in if somebody goes down on the front line.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to have, I think, at least 3 tackles and 5 interior guys that can play. And conversely, on D-line, you want 7 or 8. You're going to have your main guys, but you can't keep your D-line out there the whole game in, the Power 4 conference, just because offenses move so much faster and you're running so much more. You got to have 7, 8 you can roll in.
Yes, exactly. And build up experience.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it. You get everybody playing time.
Now let's talk a little bit Ty Simpson.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you talked about this on your show. I haven't seen it yet, but he's apparently debating going in the draft, not sure yet, but also thinking about going in the portal if he does come back to college. The ones I had heard as options would be either stay at Bama, and then Tennessee and Oregon would be portal options for him. First off, do you think he's NFL ready?
1 year under his belt, he was arguably the best quarterback in beginning, early part of the season, middle part of the season, and then just kind of fell.
Through 8 games, he was a top 5 Heisman candidate.
Yes, and then it just fell apart. I don't know. And there's a lot of rumors out there that he may have gotten injured. That's kind of hurt his playing time. All that. I'm not going to speculate on that because it's never been, proven, never come out from the coaching staff. But there was something that changed with him. Maybe it was because he was running for his life because the offensive line could not block him. I'm not sure. Maybe teams figured him out. But, I think Mel Kiper still has him as the third best, QB right now. I don't know if that's going to be a first-round grade.
Yeah. It's interesting with the top 3 draft QBs. Mendoza will be in the draft, but then we don't know if Simpson or Dante Moore is going to go in the draft, so they both might come back to college. And they both, especially Moore, that affects the portal a ton because if Moore comes back, Oregon doesn't get a QB. If he goes in the draft, they get one of the best ones in the portal. So
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot right on Ty's decision. I know earlier today he's not made a decision and he's still weighing his options. But if he comes back, that's great. He comes back to Alabama. Yep. If he goes in the portal, that's great too. Because the guys we have on the staff or on the roster right now, everybody's talking about Keelan Russell. They're saying he's the next guy. So if Ty comes back, you risk losing him. So,
I think if you lose Ty, or if Ty comes back, Austin Mack's gone for sure because they'll start somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So maybe you keep Keelan, lose Austin Mack, but
you live with that though. If Ty's going to be our starter, Keelan number 2, you live with that.
Exactly, and I can see that playing out, and that will be just fine. Mm-hmm. Maybe Ty needs a little bit more season before he's ready for the NFL, but he could go and probably, you look at the top 5 teams, that's projected, I think Tennessee, they don't need a quarterback. They got their franchise quarterback in Ward. The Jets need a quarterback. The Raiders need a quarterback. Well, that's 1-2. So Moore goes out, Ty goes out. One of those two is probably going to fall for a little while because once you get past 4 and 5, none of those guys really need quarterbacks. They just need other help elsewhere. And then you get late in the first round, none of those need quarterbacks. Well, no, they're proven they're almost, they're right there at needing extra help to get into the Super Bowl. So they don't need a quarterback. So he may fall in the second round.
Yeah. And the other variable there is everybody says next year's QB class is going to be a lot better. So maybe he's a lot lower if he stays next year, even if he plays similarly. So that's something to be aware of too.
Exactly. You can mess up your draft stock by coming back to college.
Yeah.
So it's a lot to navigate as a kid and try to weigh your options here. But you think you come back. Really, if he's a number 3 QB with a stacked QB, next year class, could he improve to be that number 1 guy? I don't know. I don't know if he can or not. Number 3 may be his best option getting into the draft and getting ready for the draft and all that.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Say Dante Moore decides to go back to Oregon. Between him and Mendoza, I think it'd be tough for Ty to become the number 1 QB. Yeah. But if you're going to be the number 2 QB, would you be even close to that high next year? Maybe not. So tough to tell. Yeah.
Right.
So that's I think an interesting one to look at.
Very, very sure. For sure.
But say Ty does leave. Mm-hmm. Do you think there's any chance Bama looks in the portal for a QB, or are they happy with Mack and Russell?
Yeah, I think they're happy with Mack and Russell.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
And, Mack is the typical bill for a Kevin DeBoer, Ryan Grubb offense. He's like 6'7", 6'5", 6'7", 240 pounds. He's massive, and he's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah.
But, we only saw a little bit of Keelan Russell this year, but, he was really rated high coming out of high school. A lot of people are high on him. So that QB battle is going to be great if it's just those two.
I wonder if Simpson comes back, does Austin Mack follow Shepard to Oregon State and be the guy out there? Wouldn't be a bad fit. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be, and he'll be an instant starter for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd be a good fit out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just seeing I'm on 247, and they have now crystal balled Hollywood Smothers to Alabama.
Yeah.
So
I think that's gonna happen. And
good.
we need it.
That's a good.
We need a veteran. You know what the guys left on staff on the roster for running back is Daniel Hill, who's played a lot. Kevin Riley, I figured, you know, he's decent, and you know, and then AK Deer, who didn't get to play a lot. So all those are young players. I mean, Daniel Hill's a sophomore. Riley, I think he's going to be a red shirt sophomore. And Deer was a freshman this year.
Yep, Riley will be a redshirt sophomore. Yeah, and Deer.
So you need a veteran running back. So getting Hollywood Smothers huge for Alabama.
Mm-hmm. And I also think, you know, based on who we expect to be the main guys, Smothers, you know, 5'11", 195, you know, quicker guy, faster. He's a good complement to Daniel Hill, who's 245 and a bowling ball through the tackle. So those two could be a very good 1-2 and, you know, situationally work together quite well.
Absolutely. So that's one Alabama fans have been watching last couple of days. And once he announced that he dropped his visit from Florida State, we knew we had a good shot with him.
Yeah. And Trey Wisner from Texas committed there today. So he was probably told we're signing him.
Exactly. Yep.
Then at receiver, you know, talking about that position group, Ryan Williams, stud player. By and large, we would probably say he had a disappointing year based on what we expected.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Bernard was awesome. He's gone.
Yep.
So, you know, looking at Ryan Williams, Isaiah Horton, Latsier Brooks looked very good at the end of the year, but we don't really know anybody after those three who's, you know, played significantly. Because we had Jalen Mbakwe went in the portal, committed to Georgia Tech. I saw that. And then Cole Adams will be, you know, smaller slot guy in the portal. He'll end up somewhere.
Right.
But are you hearing any, you know, in terms of receivers, anyone that, you know, they might target? I'd kind of wondered if Isaiah Canyon from Georgia Tech may be a guy they'd target, or Trey Wilson from Florida could be a good slot, you know, he seems like a Bernard replacement type guy. They're similarly skilled and used. So,
yeah, you know, a lot of Bama fans were keeping an eye on Cam Coleman because he was scheduled to be on campus Wednesday. Well, supposedly that has now changed, and he's not going to, you know, come on campus. So apparently, Texas oil money runs wild, and you can't beat Texas oil money. So it's going to be interesting. One good thing about the receiving group is Rico Scott pulled his name out today, so he's coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So he played a little bit. Now later in the season, he didn't get a lot of snaps because everybody, you know, Latsier Brooks come on the scene and played really well. So Zay Horton, he's kind of a toss up because he is bowl eligible or draft eligible. He may come back. So if he does come back, you got Ryan Williams, you got Zay Horton, you got Rico Scott, you got Latsier Brooks. Derek Meadows is he got hurt in I think it was the Missouri game, had a concussion. We didn't really see much from him.
Yeah.
After
tall,
that.
you know, 6'5", massively tall guy.
Yeah, it could be a mismatch in that slot. Yeah. So keeping him was huge as well. Also got a really good wide receiver coming in Cedarian Morgan.
That's right. I forgot about him. Yeah.
So that's probably a guy that's probably going to be against a lot of good playing time this year. So I don't think, you know, it may be a need to get another guy, but it's down on the list of top priorities for this coaching staff at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then tight end wise, you know, Cuevas was had quite a few catches this year, good amount of touchdowns. Caleb Edwards was solid as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think other than him, what is the rest of that roster looking like? I don't know a ton about Danny Lewis or Jay Lindsey, even though it seemed like Lindsey played a lot, but just as a blocker.
Yeah. Danny Lewis, you know, he was hurt most of the year. Okay. So he actually put his name in the portal last year, but was one that would come back. So I'm glad he hadn't done that this year because he's probably going to be really relied on a lot this year. He's a really good tight end. He's a good blocking tight end. And then he can catch the ball as well. But, you know, we got Josh Ford from Oklahoma State coming in as well. So he'll probably get a good bit of playing time. I think it's Elijah Pritchett. He's another tight end that will probably see some playing time. But I believe it'll be Ford, Lewis, and
Marshall Pritchett.
Marshall Pritchett, yeah. And
I didn't know that Ford committed. I knew he visited. I didn't know Ford had already committed, though. Okay.
Yeah, he is committed. Yeah. He's 6'6", 265. Yeah. So
do a guy can, in the passing and running game, he should be a factor there.
Right. Yeah. So Edwards, Ford, Lewis will probably see the most snaps at tight end this year.
Okay. Then we already covered the O-line. Now, defensively, let's do a postmortem on the defense. How did most Tide fans feel about the defense at the end of the year?
They didn't show up in that bowl game against Indiana, but other than that, they looked. They played the part. They were kind of a bend but don't break type defense. Yep. And honestly, we talked about it on our show, Mike. Me and Stacey did, but you look at the Georgia game. The defense was put in a lot of bad situations.
Oh, terrible. Yep.
So because the offense couldn't get anything going. So the defense actually played really well this year. But we're losing a lot of guys. Still not heard if Bray Hubbard is going to go in the draft, which I'd imagine he would because he's probably going to be a late first, early second round type guy. And I just don't know as a safety can you improve your spot that much.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to go.
This is a pretty good safety class too with Caleb Downs, will be a high pick.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah.
Damani Jackson's gone. You still got Zay Brown at corner. The other corner will be DeJohn Lee, who really had a really good year as a freshman.
He was thrown in the mix at a tough spot. I thought for a true freshman looked pretty good.
Yes, he did. He gave up that long pass to Squirrel White against Florida State. Kind of got shuffled back. Took his lumps, but when he got asked to play again, he handled it really well. There's a lot of maturity out of that kid.
Looking at him, he reminds me of another former Tide stud who actually has a son on the team, Dre Kirkpatrick. That lanky, really long arms, tall, lanky guy can, gets his hands in. It's tough to get away from him. He must be 6'4". Like he's a very good sized kid.
Yes, he is. So speaking of Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., everybody knows he had the incident in the season, never got to play again. As far as I know at the moment, he's still on the team, and I figured he's going to be in the doghouse for a while. He's going to have to work his way out of that. But I think he's going to have a role with this team this upcoming year.
Yeah,
because we lost several good safeties. I think Sabb is going to be gone. So we're going to need some safety help.
Yeah, Sabb does have a year left, but I wonder if he will use that or if he'll go in the draft because he will be a decently high. And he's probably a day 2 pick in the draft, so second or third round.
Yeah. So both Alabama safeties could be, day 2 guys.
Yeah.
And so you got to replace those. You got fairly good corners that you can put on the island by themselves. And really, the biggest thing for this Alabama defense, you got to get a veteran inside linebacker because everybody you have on the roster right now are young and they're inexperienced because they didn't get to play a lot.
Yeah.
Because Justin Jefferson was an everyday guy, every down guy. Deontay Lawson's the every down guy, and Nakai Green-Hill was an every down guy. So
one guy I had kind of wondered if Cade Olave from Cal would be a Bama target. One of the top, if not the top, inside backer in the portal right now.
Yep.
Not massively tall, but he's 6'1", but 235, very solid tackler, and he's that inside middle guy that they really need in that offense, where he could help a lot.
Right, and we brought in Caleb Woodson from Virginia Tech. So I think he come in on either Saturday or Sunday. So he's already been on campus. Maybe we'll hear from him in the next couple of days about a commitment. Another guy I've seen a lot of Bama people talk about, the kid from Wisconsin, the linebacker who went into the portal. Alabama saw Wisconsin this year. I think he had a massive sack against Ty Simpson. So that's another guy to keep your eye on if you're an Alabama fan. I can't think of his name.
I was looking at Wisconsin's port because Wisconsin got a ton of commits.
Yes.
Yesterday. Linebacker. Oh, Tackett Curtis. Yes. Very good player. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's it.
And there, I was thinking it was Christian Allegro because he's a decent linebacker that went in the portal, but I didn't realize Curtis went in today. So that's good player. Yeah, that will be.
That's somebody that Steph needs to be on for sure.
Yeah, he's tough.
Mm-hmm.
And then D line wise, I mean, I couldn't help but we talked a little off screen about it even, but that Alabama defense. It was a night and day difference when Tim Keenan was in versus when he was hurt. They were so much better when he played, and replacing him will be massive, at the nose position, just for all he did for you.
Yeah, for sure. And, James Smith has a year of eligibility left, but all indications are he's going to be back. So that's good. You got a veteran presence on the defensive line. Losing Tim Keenan is going to be hurt really bad. But we have a young guy who played a lot of snaps in Keenan's absence, and that was Landon Simmons. He's a really good run stuffer as well. So he'll probably be that nose guard guy this year. And you got to find somebody on the opposite side of that. We brought in Delvin Tompkins from USC. He was on campus yesterday.
He's the second highest rated D tackle in the portal right now.
Yes. Yeah. So that's another guy to keep an eye on. Hopefully, Alabama can nail him down. But, overall, you're losing some guys. Got a lot of guys in the portal right now in the defensive, in the linebacker position, outside linebacker, Wolf, guys like that. Keon Keeley, Quay Russaw went in the portal today. That stings a little bit. But overall, you get Pierre back. Pierre was your most explosive pass rusher. And Lou
led the team in sacks.
Yeah. Right. So getting him back is critical. And he's actually he can go early in the draft because he's a redshirt sophomore. So he technically could be a junior. But I think he needs another year of season, so I think he's going to stay.
Yeah, that wouldn't be shocking.
Yeah, but overall, I think the defense is going to be fine. Defensive line, it is kind of a need. Just get another veteran presence on that front for sure.
Good. Yeah. So I think that we've covered the Tide pretty well. What looking at other teams nationally in the portal, there some things have definitely stood out, especially at the quarterback position. We have Sorsby, leaving Cincinnati, going to Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Mestemaker is following his coach from North Texas to Oklahoma State. Are there any other quarterbacks who have, their destinations have surprised you, or guys that are still in the portal that you're really curious to see where they go? QB wise, what stands out to you?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think today he was on campus down at Auburn, Byron Brown for USF.
Yeah.
So
he has been crystal ball there, following.
Yeah, right. So, and then I think they also had the backup who committed yesterday.
The backup has committed. Yes.
Yes. So, at least for Alex Golesh, he can finally, Auburn has lost a ton of people in the portal. Everybody has come out. So he's kind of rewriting the ship now a little bit, getting some of his guys to commit. So maybe this will be a start for him. Other than
they might really struggle on offense next year. They're not going to have much coming back.
No, they're not. So, it's going to take some lumps for sure. It's going to be a struggle if you're sorry, Tiger fans, but, it is what it is. But one of the interesting things that come up is over the weekend, Mike, and I'm sure you saw it as well, but Sam Levitt was actually trending towards Kentucky.
Yes.
And actually went, I think, to campus, but they wasn't able to get him commit. And now I think a lot of people are saying he's going to end up at LSU now.
Yeah, I think Kentucky's still on the table, but LSU looks likely. And I wonder if part of that had to do with NIL offerings, because it sounded like LSU's top candidate was Sorsby. Then when he committed to Tech, you wonder if they took, okay, this is the NIL we offered him. We'll give it to Levitt now. And the other thing I've heard with Levitt is there are more serious concerns about his injury than we thought. Apparently it could be a Lisfranc. So it might be more concerning than they had let on during the year that we thought there might be.
That's interesting. That would be huge if it come out.
Yeah.
You know, he's a really good quarterback.
Yeah.
And whoever ends up with him is going to be really
good. The other kind of rumor out there is that his brother's very involved in doing a lot of the negotiating, and it's turning some people off, to put it, just leave it at that. So, which could happen.
Yeah, for sure.
DJ Lagway, our viewers will know well from Florida, had visited Baylor. Sounds like that's an option. Also, is visiting Florida State, and it sounds like him and Gus had productive talks, and that might be an option there. We hear Virginia is going to be his next visit later this week, and I didn't hear a for sure number, but the quote was he will visit a handful of schools after Virginia. So I don't think Lagway's in a hurry to lock down where he's going.
Right.
Which is okay.
Yeah, because I think if I remember correctly, you just have to have your name in the portal by the 16th of January, but you don't have to commit until
correct.
Yes. Whenever, you really need to get on campus before spring ball happens, which crazy.
And even more practice whenever you're, the semesters will start in the next couple of weeks. Whenever that last ad drop days, if you're in by then, you should be good.
Right. So one thing I heard about that Lagway meeting today with Gus is, I think On3 had mentioned it, but Gus was saying, was comparing him to Cam Newton. And I'm like, man, I mean, Lagway's good, but that's some very tall shoes to fill.
We're beyond good in talking about special if we're talking about Cam Newton.
Right. I mean, Lagway's good. I just don't know if he's that, up to that point. Yeah. He may very well get there, but everything we've seen from him at Florida, he's just not going to be there yet.
No, and hasn't been able to stay healthy either.
Right. Yeah. For sure.
Dylan Raiola, Nebraska is another interesting one. We had heard Mizzou could be an early option for him. They've since Austin Simmons is leaving Ole Miss and going to Mizzou. The one for Raiola, I do wonder, will Miami be an option? And if Dante Moore goes to the draft, Oregon could be an option for Raiola. I think that would be a decent fit.
Absolutely.
Are you hearing anything Deuce Knight-wise? I've been hearing a bunch of randoms, but nothing, too substantial.
Yeah, I know he went in the portal today, but I haven't heard anything outside of who may be, where he may be looking at. When he played against Mercer, he ran like a daggum, jackrabbit out there. Didn't really see his arm much, so I'm not sure, he don't have a lot of tape with, throwing the ball. So be interesting to see where he goes. But
the only one I heard was there was an SEC school he was looking at, but full transparency, it was a paid article and I did not pay, so I do not know where the answer is. And they had disabled comments so nobody could tell everybody else where it was.
Of course. Yeah. Got to get that money.
Yeah. The one that might, if Levitt doesn't go to Kentucky, Deuce Knight to Kentucky wouldn't be a terrible option.
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all. And a lot of rumors, when Cam Coleman come out, a lot of rumors swirling that he wanted to play with Deuce Knight. And so, maybe he's kind of driving, Deuce Knight to get in the portal, and maybe he's trying to drive, well, if I land here, they may need a quarterback, eventually. So I don't know. That's very interesting.
Tough thing there is Texas A&M, Texas Tech. None of them need a QB anymore.
Nope, not anymore. They don't. So that's all for naught. Unless he just want to go and just ride the pine, just hang out with his buddy Cam Coleman. I don't know. What's LSU going to do as a quarterback? Have you heard anything on that, Mike?
So I think Levitt could end up being the guy there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it would make a lot of sense after losing out on Sorsby, but Levitt. I don't know if Dylan Raiola is a great fit in that system, but he's a solid player. Mm-hmm. And after that, you have to imagine they're going to get one of the top guys in the portal, and a lot of the other top guys are already, committed elsewhere. So for me, Levitt makes the most sense there. Again, maybe Lagway would end up there. I know some people had thought, would Trinidad Chambliss go there if he wins his appeal for another year? He said today he's going to go back to Ole Miss if he wins his appeal.
Okay.
So good to see that guy. Good for him doing that.
That's another win for Pete Golden over.
It is. Yeah.
So, that's what I found funny, Mike. Lane Kiffin left Ole Miss to go to a LSU because he wanted to win a championship. I mean, now his Ole Miss team that he built is one game away from playing in the national championship.
Yeah, but for me, the two very interesting SEC teams now are LSU and Tennessee. What are they going to do in the portal? Because they're going to get somebody, and you feel like if they don't get a top guy now, they'll wait till the spring, like Tennessee had to do last year when Nico left, and you just pay a guy a bunch of money to portal you in the spring.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, far be it for me to throw accusations at anybody. I feel like there's zero chance that Aguilar wasn't tampered with last spring. Nico's going there. Do you want to come here and we'll pay you what you're paying him? Like it.
Right. Yeah.
And but until it's punished, I don't blame teams for doing it because it doesn't matter anymore.
Right. Exactly. They're going to get paid regardless.
Yeah. But LSU and Tennessee are two interesting ones of what do they end up doing that. I think it's very interesting.
Yeah. And Tennessee is going to need a quarterback. So they need to go after one of these high profile names for sure.
Really. And we haven't heard his name for that job at all, but scheme wise, Lagway would be a good Tennessee fit because he can throw the ball a mile, and Heupel does a great job of scheming it. So you're reading pre-snap, you know which half of the field you have to look at, and then you just let it fly to that half of the field. Like it would be a good scheme fit for him, like it was for Nico when he was there, like it was for Aguilar, like it was for Joe Milton, who couldn't succeed anywhere else but with Heupel because he had those skill set.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Be a very good fit for DJ.
Yeah. And we have Cutter Boley at Kentucky now, is going to Arizona State.
Yep. Good move for him, I think.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be a very good system fit where we might see him, put up a lot of numbers. I think I was talking to a guy who was talking to Boley's representative, and they're very happy with that fit for him.
Yeah.
So I think it was even like beyond money, NIL-wise, it was we think this gives Cutter a very good chance to get ready for the NFL.
Good move for him then.
Yeah. But we've reached our conclusion now for the day. So this will be obviously Tuesday morning, this will go live. But Jake, want to thank you for being here. It was great to have you talk Bama football in the portal. And for those of you out there, you can see us on our group show Wednesday night this week. Again, thank you for being here, Jake. Yeah, everybody, you should go follow him. His Twitter handle's been on the banner here. So, go that, follow him there, and then look at, Bam After Dark, Tide Talk. And Jake, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. See you.